Hello and welcome back to the Brew Interviews, the one show where something happens. I don't really know. I didn't think of anything today. I am Robbie, and joining me this week, as always, via the internet is my best friend Lauren. It is episode 90, and this week is another movie review. And we decided we needed a little more bacon in our diets. Kevin Bacon, that is. So tonight we are reviewing the 2000 hit sci-fi movie Hollow Man. This week on the Brew Interviews.
The Brew Interviews, coast to coast, brews, faves, and more with Lauren and Robbie.
This episode of the Brew Interviews is sponsored by AdamandEve.com, but you'll hear more about them later on in the show. For now, Lauren, how you been?
Well, Robbie, I've been doing pretty good this week. It's my birthday week, so something to look forward to. Yeah, got that long weekend ahead of me with Labor Day. It's always
you
nice.
Look good for 42.
Shut up, Robbie. I'm not even 30 yet. Christ. Oh, man. But it's always nice to have my birthday on Labor Day weekend because I get an extra long weekend out of it.
True.
It's like a given birthday gift. I love it.
Fuck them. Just pretend you're sick. Take the day off anyway.
I always take my birthday off. I never work my birthday. That would
Really?
Oh, yeah. No. That's like the one.
You've never been in the military.
My birthday is like the one day a year that I feel okay asking for things for myself. Like doing whatever I want. Like that's not worrying about anybody else. So I always take it off. And my mom sent me a really cool birthday present today. It's like this hanging plant grower. Like it's just super cute. It's handmade in Vermont by I think it's like Handmade Water Gardens or something like that. But
yeah, somebody who owns cats for sure.
Oh, 100%. But they sent like a billion like plants with it. So but it only has like these two little like holders for plants. So now I'm just rooting all of the other plants in like little vases around my apartment. So
And none of them are weed plants?
None of them are weed plants. No.
What a shitty gift, Mom.
But they're fun, like ivy, and I think there's some mint in there. One of them smelled pretty minty. I'm like 90% sure it's mint. It was a little wilted, so I'm waiting for it to come back to life. But because they send
Stick it in your mouth, chew it up, you'll be fine.
Yeah, well, I don't tend to do that with all plants.
There's one thing I know about plants, Lord, is that if you find them in the woods, you can shove them in your mouth and you'll be just fine.
Does that work with mushrooms also, or?
Yep, my grandfather told me that.
Oh, great! You're still alive, so must be true.
Right?
Yeah. How are you, Robbie? How are you doing this week?
Not too bad. Cooking a lot, smoking everything and get my hands on, besides pole. Bad joke. Did kielbasa's, bratwurst. I showed you pictures. I made a bacon and onion jam.
I was gonna
to go
say,
on bratwurst.
I'm gonna make some of that bacon. God. I gotta do it with the Vidalia onion though. Otherwise, I'll be shitting my brains out for weeks. But
it might be worth it to just make it with regular onions. You'll be fine.
No, I'll make
just
it.
Eat it while you're on the toilet.
I feel like Vidalia onions would go really well in like a bacon onion jam because they're sweet. Like,
yeah, but you cook them down so long, and with the brown sugar. I don't think it makes a difference what onion it is unless it's a red onion.
Well, I can't eat white or red or yellow, so I'll just stick with the Vidalia.
Because you're weak genes.
It's not my weak genes. Fuck onions.
Weak genes.
God.
Fuck onions?
No, I'm just kidding.
You say
I like
that.
onion. I like cooking with onion. I like cooking with Vidalia onions.
Yeah. You would have not survived back in the day.
Yeah, I would have. I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't have eaten onions. I would have realized that they make me shit my brains out, and I wouldn't have eaten them.
What if that's all you had was onions? Nobody was allergic to shit back in the day.
Yeah, they were. Everything. They just died, or
Bullshit.
they pooped their brains out.
No, it's because they ate every random plant in the woods.
Yeah, they all died.
Which you can do now.
No, you can't.
Speaking of putting things in your mouth, Lauren, what are you drinking this week?
Wow, Robbie, I really like that segue.
Thank you.
So this week, I am drinking Strobe from Good Fire Brewing in Portland, Maine. It's a New England-style IPA with Strata, Citra, Mosaic, and Sabro hops. It's got all the hops.
You should know how to pronounce all the hops by now.
Fuck you, I have no idea how to pronounce anything.
We only run a beer podcast.
Yeah, but how often do we talk about hops?
Never. I hate hops. They're disgusting.
Except in our IPA episode. Please go listen to it.
Yeah.
This beer is just like every other beer from Good Fire. It is delicious. It's got a very sweet, piney taste to it. I don't get a whole lot of like fruitiness, which is fine with me because the like sweetness and the floralness from the hops is like fucking delicious. So it's like it's hazy and yummy, and I'm a big fan. I like it a lot. I'm not sure what the percentage is because I couldn't see it right away, but 6%, 6% ABV. So yeah, what are you drinking, Robbie?
Well, I didn't really have a good idea of what I wanted to drink tonight, so I did what anybody would do, and I stuck my hand into the beer fridge, and I rummaged around for a random beer with my eyes closed.
It's my favorite
And I'm not
thing.
totally disappointed. So tonight I am drinking Smashed Pumpkin from Shipyard Brewing.
Nice. I almost grabbed a pumpkin beer for tonight. Real close.
This motherfucker's 9%. Did you know that?
Holy crap. No, I had no
Yeah.
If you drink it, you'd think it was like maybe a 6%.
Yeah. If that. If you don't know Shipyard, they're based out of Maine and Vermont. I think they have one in New York as well.
But they're an OG Portland.
Yeah, OG Maine, for sure.
Aren't they from Portland originally?
I
Shipyard?
don't fucking know. Shipyard is from, Portland, Maine, but they also have one in Burlington, Vermont, and they also have one in New York somewhere.
Yeah, but they're from, they started out in Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're both drinking Portland, Maine breweries tonight, Robbie. I almost just called you beer.
What'd you almost call me?
Beer.
Beer?
I almost called you beer. Fucking losing my
I named
mind.
my
dude.
first kid Beer. Come here, little Bobby Beer Burglar.
Bobby Beer. Robbie, is this our 90th episode?
This is our 90th.
Does that mean
episode.
it's the start of our 3rd season?
Yeah, that's true.
Woohoo! Yay! We made it
should've
3
taken a break
seasons!
Now I gotta change the fucking naming convention again. Great, god damn it.
Well, that's all right.
As you heard in the intro, this week we did another movie review, and tonight we did kind of a favorite of mine, at least from when I was a kid to middle school. Or how old are you in 2000? This came out in 2000.
You're definitely.
10.
We were like 4th grade.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I don't know what age you are in grades anymore. I always have to like look it up.
I'm pretty sure that I always have to count backwards from when I graduated. Like I don't even.
Really? I
I'm like,
was always older in my class anyway, so it fucks me up.
and I was always the youngest in my class, so it
Yeah.
fucks me up.
Yeah. So there you go. Either way, we watched Hollow Man. For those of you that are not familiar with Hollow Man, it's an amazing movie. It came out in the year 2000, and it was directed by Paul Verhoeven. You might know that name from the movies Total Recall,
Or RoboCop.
RoboCop, Basic Instinct, which is a great movie. Starship Troopers, which is an amazing movie. I wish we had reviewed that one, but I don't know what we can watch that on.
I don't even know what. I don't even know.
You've
what that
never
is.
seen Starship Troopers? Starship Troopers was the first movie I ever jerked off to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it has a very special place in my heart, and that place is my dick too. So
Wow.
there's like a few scenes where like they're in the showers together, and it's like guys and girls, but of course they show the girls naked, not the guys. Thank God. So like I wore out that goddamn VHS tape.
Just
Because
it
I would
starts
always, like, pause
smoking
right
because
there.
you just keep rewinding it.
Oh yeah,
it.
that's the same spot all the time. That and the scene in Titanic when she takes off her clothes and he draws her.
See, I wasn't allowed to watch the Titanic. Like, I didn't watch that till I was in like high school.
We had the special edition, like 2 VHS.
Yeah, that
versions
I
of
have it
Titanic.
still. It's literally in my living room. It's Danny's like favorite movie. So
And anytime my parents would watch it, it would get to that part and it would just kind of like, it would all fizz out. My mom's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Why was the tape sticky? I don't get it. I don't know, Mom. Don't touch that again.
Ew.
What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Hollow Man. Starship Troopers, and he also directed Showgirls, which is a very interesting movie. It stars one of the girls from Saved by the Bell.
Which one?
The tall lanky girl.
I don't even know why I asked. I don't know.
I'm drawing
any
a blank
girls
on her
from
name.
Saved by the Bell.
But you see her titties, either way. So the movie had a budget of $95 million, and it was actually a success at the box office, bringing in $190 million.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a lot. Some of the actors in it you might know. Kevin Bacon, of course. He plays the main character, Sebastian Cain. He also does the voice of Balto. Did you know he does the voice of Balto?
Kevin Bacon does?
Yes.
Like Balto the dog?
Yes, he's Balto. I didn't know that.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I had
also
no
stars-
idea.
He also stars in Tremors, which is one of my favorite movies. Footloose.
Footloose.
Friday the 13th, the first one. And Animal House. For those of you, any National Lampoon fans, he's in the Animal House. He plays one of the dickheads in the movie.
If you don't know who Kevin Bacon is, like, you need to reevaluate your life. Like, even I love Kevin Bacon. Come on.
Speaking of people nobody knows, Elizabeth Shue also stars in this movie.
That's his love interest, right?
I wouldn't even call it a love interest, kind of.
His ex-girlfriend.
His obsession, yes.
Yeah.
She plays Linda McKay. She is in Back to the Future 2 and 3, The Karate Kid, and she had a large recurring role on the original CSI.
I haven't seen any of those movies.
You've never seen The Karate Kid?
I haven't seen the second or third Back to the Future. I've seen the first one.
Holy shit.
I have seen The Karate Kid, but it was like a long fucking time ago, and I don't have any recollection except for the main character and Mr. Miyagi, so.
God damn it. And the last notable character in the movie is Josh Brolin.
Yes.
Who is one of my favorite actors of all time.
The older brother from the Goonies.
He plays Matt Kensington. He was in the Goonies. He was in the Avengers, playing Thanos. He was in the Deadpool movies. He was in Old Boy, Sicario, True Grit. I mean, he's in a lot of stuff. He's an amazing actor.
You see his face, you know who he is.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, there are a couple other actors that, like, you definitely recognize, like
there's like the one dude, scientist dude,
the like smart scientist guy with the curly hair, and then like the kind of goofy scientist guy. Like, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff.
I've not. You've seen him in a bunch of things, Lauren? You haven't seen a bunch of things.
Well, like, the things that I recognized him. I recognized him over the main actress, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what he was in, but I definitely recognized him.
So I'm going to read you a little synopsis of the movie right now. I had typed out a nice synopsis of my own. It was nice. It sounded good. I was like, yeah, I like the sound of this. I added that. I added this. I spent time on it. And then for some reason, the Word document I was working on just shut out completely.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And usually when that happens, it pops right back up again, like where you left off, like it autosaves it. Yeah. It did not autosave it at all.
Oh, no.
And I was too angry to rewrite everything I had written, plus I couldn't remember it.
Yeah, I don't.
So this version's not as good.
Yeah, well, just pretend Robbie's was better.
Kevin Bacon plays Dr. Sebastian Kane, a scientist leading a team trying to perfect a serum that turns its subject invisible and then back to normal again. However, Kane decides to become his own lab rat and test the serum on himself. Kane is successfully turned invisible, but is not able to revert back. Kane then starts to go mad and power crazed while slowly trying to murder the rest of the team to be able to escape the lab and wreak havoc on the world above. The team must work together to stop Kane using creative solutions to see an end to his madness. Not too bad. I mean,
yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, there's periods and good words in there. I use the word wreak. I don't usually do that a lot.
It's a good word.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
So you had never seen this movie before, correct?
I had never even heard of this movie before.
That is a shame, because this movie is a classic, sort of.
Yeah, I told Dana we were watching it. She didn't know what it was either.
I am not surprised.
Well.
There's like 2 sequels.
Yeah, I was also surprised to see that.
Hollow Man 2 is actually not that bad. It's not as good as the first one, but.
Well, I was going to say, okay. the OG Hollow Man, I didn't think it was that bad.
Right, it's a good watch. It really isn't that bad.
I have mixed feelings about it.
You really do. Tell me about those mixed feelings, Lauren.
Well, I don't know where to start. So, I overall enjoyed this movie, but I have an issue with all of the sexual assault that happens in it.
Oh, of course you have an issue with it. That's the whole point.
I know. I understand. I understand that they had to do that in order for you to like really dislike this main character, because Kevin Bacon is awesome and it's so hard to not like him.
Yeah.
Like when I started watching it, he's just so fucking charming. You're like, this guy is great. And then you like start to get like these really off vibes when he like tries to kiss his old girlfriend and she's like, nah. And he's like kind of pissed about it. And then he's like checking out a girl from a window. Like, all right, that's uncomfortable. And then when he actually turns invisible and like starts touching titties, I'm like, okay, well, that's just not all right.
I mean, he rapes that girl.
Oh,
right?
He won. Yes,
I'm assuming.
So there were actually more to that scene, but it was cut from the movie.
That's probably good.
I didn't watch it just because like it makes me so angry that somebody would do that, like use invisibility invisibility power like that. Like, that's not okay. I mean, it's not okay to sexually assault anyone at any time.
No,
but
Lauren's like, if you're not invisible, it's okay.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But, like, I don't like that that's how they had to make his character unlikable. Like, they could have done other things, but...
I mean, kind of, and they kind of did, but I think it was okay. I mean, not sexual assault, but him going that far, being that bad, I think was great for the movie, because, like you said, you want to hate the guy now.
Yeah, like that really solidified, like, my hatred towards him, and, like, this needs to end, and, like, it really intensifies, like, the kind of urgency that all of the other characters are feeling, like, okay, he's dangerous now. Like, it's not just, like, ill intent or, like, oh, that was kind of bad. Like, now he's, like, a dangerous predator. Like, he needs to be stopped.
Yeah, and he sexually assaults, like, three people? His ex-wife, the vet tech.
I don't remember that one.
Elizabeth Shue's character. She's working at the desk, and he starts, like, rubbing on her. And he's like, does this feel familiar?
Right.
And you can't see anything because he's invisible, but you're all assuming he pulled out his dick and put it on her.
Oh, yep.
And
I didn't.
You don't remember that?
I dissociated on that.
Yeah. And then while the vet tech was sleeping, he unbuttoned her top.
Yeah. That was the first thing. Like, if he would just gone into, like, a locker room and spied on naked chicks, like, that would have made me feel less uncomfortable, but, like...
Less uncomfortable?
I mean, it's still not okay, but it's still...
Lauren's like,
I'm just so sweaty right now. I can't even, talk about this. I'm so sweaty.
Can we talk about the amazing early 2000s music that they play?
I honestly don't even remember any of the music
from
all? This. I usually, like, make comments or, like, make a mental note of, like, how much I like or dislike soundtracks for the movie, but I just really, I think I was so intensely paying attention to the actual story of the movie that I was not paying attention to the music.
Every time he was outside of the bunker and in his car or something like that, there was always some bad 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like rock. I use rock in quotations because rock finished in, like, 1990, but...
Yeah, you're right.
The rest of the music score was fine, but certain song choices that they use, I think, were just bad.
I think the movie was good enough that the soundtrack doesn't make a whole lot of difference in this case.
Pretty much. So one thing I did think was cool was the cool secret underground lab that they had on the military base. This takes place in Washington, D.C., by the way.
Yeah, I think the base is supposed to, like, actually be in the Pentagon.
Really?
Yeah, because this was one of the very few movies, like, ever that's gotten permission to film outside of the Pentagon, like, use the actual Pentagon.
Hollow Man?
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that fucking weird? But, like, a lot of, like, you're not allowed to film the Pentagon because of national security or whatever, but, like...
Be like, no. You're not allowed to film the Pentagon. But, like, but wait, this is the RoboCop guy. You're like, fucking get him.
Fucking get him. Get those
okay.
cameras rolling. Let's do this.
Fucking RoboCop. And then one guy's like, showgirl. So, like, no, fuck yourself.
No, fuck you.
So I think this lab is where the whole movie should have taken place. I think he should have locked down the lab with everybody in it, like, from the beginning. And then it would have been kind of like a suffocating horror movie.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because...
It's kind of like Alien to me. It would be like Alien.
I've never seen Alien.
Trapped on the ship. You can't let the alien out. But you gotta, like, fucking kill him before he kills you kind of deal.
I like that concept, but I really think that it was good for him to, like, be going in and out and then at the end turn it into a lockdown, because I really didn't see this end coming. Like, I'm pretty good at, like, guessing the endings.
Really?
Yeah, like, it totally kind of, like, turned into this, like, creepy thriller type vibe for me, which it didn't really have before. Like, it was kind of like, okay, he's got this invisibility, like, power, in air quotes, because
serum,
he's invisible. Like, what is he gonna do aside from, like, go out and, like, rape women? Like, what is he like, what's gonna happen with this? Where is it going?
But I think that's part of the worry and the stress that you would hold in your mind.
And I did.
Oh my god. But I mean, if he did get out, if they were trapped,
I think it would have. I don't think it would have been as exciting of a film for me if he had gone into lockdown, like, soon enough, like, or sooner. Like, the build up for it is really, like, what kept me on the edge of my seat.
Oh, you just wanted to see the rape scene?
No.
Can we talk about Kevin Bacon's butt for a second?
You see, I almost texted you. I was almost like, I have seen so much Kevin Bacon butt, like in the first 5 minutes of this fucking film.
I don't think it's a butt double. If it is, they did a really good job with the transitions, but I don't think it's a butt double.
I wish that I had looked it up. I didn't even think about looking it up, but like,
oh yeah.
And you see some peen in this too.
Oh, you see the tip of his peen. I wrote that down. I saw some bacon peen.
Yeah.
Because when he turns over, when he's getting transformed to the invisible section, you see
it's
like
flopping.
his ball sack and you see his dick.
Yeah.
Like not like the infrared version or whatever. You see, although you do see infrared.
You
Kevin
see
Bacon
infrared
penis a
dick
lot.
in this movie for sure.
That's real dick. That's real flopping.
That's
Trust me, I know physics.
that's real floppy dick.
When you see his butt and stuff like that, they're like talking about his like his weight and his height and bullshit for the medical people. And they said Kevin Bacon weighed 166 pounds. And I was like, 166 pounds. That's when I realized I'm like, I have like 25 pounds on fucking Kevin Bacon.
Wow. I mean,
I
was
could
that like
ragdoll
his
Kevin
real
Bacon.
is that like his real weight and stuff though?
Why would they not? You know what I mean? Like they obviously weighed him and
Yeah.
and I'm like, fuck, Kevin Bacon's a little skinny little bitch.
Wow.
Or I'm a fat ass. I don't know.
I just dropped down past Kevin Bacon's weight. So
Lauren,
go
this is
ahead.
about Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, he's got a nice butt.
God damn it. So one thing I think they should have included more, or would just make a cool movie to begin with, when they present the serum to the committee, like the military government committee or whatever it is, they show the failed experiments video. With like you see it with the monkeys and the gorillas like disintegrating when they injected them with the old serum.
Oh yeah.
And they're like grotesque, and I'm like, oh my god.
Fuck
I'm like
that
that would have made a good movie. Instead of a monster movie with a monster movie with actual monsters.
Oh yeah. That would be a good movie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't really touch on it. They just kind of like showed the video, and everybody in the government was like, yep, disintegrating monkeys. Yep.
Yeah.
seen this before.
Yeah, right?
What the fuck?
Did you know so the speaking of monkeys, the gorilla, like in the beginning of the movie, Isabel, so I thought that was just like a machine or whatever, like a CGI, but that was like an actual guy in a suit. But they had so much trouble with that, like because there's so much that has to do with like infrared with this movie, that getting the gorilla to show up right on infrared, because it's just a guy in a monkey suit. They would take hair dryers and be like blow drying the whole thing with him in it, like before they would shoot a scene.
Fuck that.
Right? Could you imagine, like, you or I in a fucking heavy gorilla suit with somebody blow drying us with heat? I would go literally insane.
It was a good suit though.
Yeah, it was really
nice.
really well done. I really liked the CGI in this movie also.
I don't think it's CGI. It was something else, but it got lauded really well for it's not animation. They didn't say CGI.
Either way, like
Special
the
effects.
special effects of this movie are fucking phenomenal.
They were nominated for an Oscar for best visual
They should have
effects.
won. Who'd they lose to?
They got nominated along with Gladiator and The Perfect Storm, and Gladiator won.
Well, I really like Gladiator, but I think that this was much better
it was
used.
so cool. The transformation scene where he's going invisible or coming back.
It's
very
fucking
cool.
awesome. It's so cool. And actually, they made a mod, like that's him for real. Like they made a model of him, and then they ended up donating it to like science because science needed it.
Science needs Kevin Bacon.
Science needs Kevin Bacon, so like science is actually using a model of Kevin Bacon. And you mentioned that the budget for this movie was like what, 95 million or something.
95 million.
They had put aside $50 million of that budget just for the special effects.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And you could do that on like a fucking iMac right now.
Yeah.
With some dude in Tennessee. Like he's like, okay.
It's crazy that this movie came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Nuts.
They made advancements. So one problem I had with the movie is that when he starts kind of, going crazy, he starts taking off his creepy plastic mask, by the way. He has like a creepy rubber plastic
Oh my god,
suit.
that honestly is that's the real horror effect of this movie.
Also, with that face mask he was wearing, the rubber mask, no nose holes and no ear holes. They just cut eyes and a mouth. And it would drive me crazy if I didn't have my ears cut open so I couldn't hear anything.
You're right. I didn't even think of that at all.
Yeah. the whole movie. I'm like,
No
what
wonder
the
he's so
fuck?
cranky.
Yeah, he can't fucking hear shit. Well, when he starts going crazy and people start realizing, oh, hey, he's murdering people, we need to take care of this. Nobody puts on the fucking thermal goggles.
Literally, I was screaming at the TV,
Yes.
Robbie, screaming. I'm like, why is nobody putting on the fucking goggles that they can see him with?
Exactly. And they're like, I don't know where he is, as they're holding the goggles. I'm like, put on the goggles.
Put on the fucking goggles, you idiot. But
They
at
could
the
have
same
prevented like multiple deaths.
at the same time, I really liked all the different ways that they showed that you can use to like, not like in real life, obviously, but like that they used to be able to see him. Like they used, they used rain,
extinguishers.
they used steam, they used fire, they used blood.
Blood.
That
the blood
that
was
was.
the best.
I was like, wow, this is something right here. But like, just all the different that like even down to them like making reference to he can't shut his eyes, like his eyelids are invisible. So
Yeah, I
like,
didn't think about that. The light.
yeah,
light hurts
I
him.
was like,
Yeah.
why doesn't somebody give him a fucking sleeping mask? Like, no wonder he's so cranky. He can't sleep at all.
Oh, another thing that bothered me, not about the movie, but just my thought process.
Mhm.
If you had this serum and you were invisible, so you're only invisible if you're walking around naked, because if you wear clothes, it shows where you are, right?
Mhm.
He's walking around naked in Washington, D.C. in the middle of the night with no shoes, no underwear.
He
I'm like,
definitely
what
has
the
hepatitis.
Fuck. Oh my God. Fuck that. Like, they don't address that part of it.
Also, I walked around barefoot in Venice and LA for an entire day. And
Why?
well, because my shoes were giving me blisters, so I took my shoes off, and then I got blisters all over the fucking bottom of my feet, so I couldn't put my shoes back on. It was a disaster. It was the worst thing in my whole life, Robbie. It was so bad. I'm walking around fucking Venice, California with
Oy.
literally no shoe protection.
But yeah, like you'd figured you'd just follow the little trails of bloody footprints from walking in the middle of DC.
Yeah, seriously.
There's at one point where he commits a big horror movie no-no.
He killed a fucking dog.
He murders a dog.
That's
And
right.
He doesn't just murder it. He ragdolls it against the metal.
He murdered it with his bare fucking
It
hands.
explodes. It explodes.
That
It's
was
all,
my
it's
last
all shot
straw.
in thermal. I know. It's all shot in thermal, this part. So you can't, like, you can see it, but you can't see it. It's sad, but it's so funny just the way, because it's almost like slapstick comedy, the way he slams it against the wall and it just explodes.
I don't know. I think I closed my eyes. I knew what was coming, and I was just like,
Oh, it's so good. He has a line in the movie that I think, I don't know if you paid attention to it, but when he was talking to the other scientist, he says, "It's amazing what you can do when you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror anymore."
Yes, I do remember that line.
That is such a good fucking line.
That's a great line.
It really is a great line, because it doesn't just, refer to him being invisible. It kind of refers to yourself in life.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
instead of
him
paying
holding a
attention to
mirror
yourself,
right up to you, like.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking deep, Kevin
My
Bacon.
God, fuck you, Kevin Bacon.
No, not fuck him.
Yeah, fuck you for making me
praised the
feel
bacon.
feelings, dude.
Feel
Jesus.
the feelings. He basically kills everybody in the lab except for two people, and that would be his ex-wife and his lab
they
partner,
married?
Josh Brolin. I don't think so, because I think he says ex-girlfriend a lot.
I think they were just dating.
Yeah, they were definitely just dating, but he becomes obsessed and he finds out that she's sleeping with the other lab partner, Josh Brolin, and he goes crazy. That's kind of what sets off everything for the most part.
That's where he gets murderous.
That's when he murders the dog. I wrote here like 6 times, put on the fucking goggles.
Yes.
Put on the goggles, you dumb fucks. I mean, that's just a constant thing for this movie. Apparently he has super strength now, because there's that one scene where he's strangling the guy from the top of the pipes.
Yep.
And he's just holding him by his hands. I'm like, what happened? What? Like, he didn't have super strength a second ago.
Literally, all right, so he does that. He's blasted with hot steam. He gets hit with a fucking crowbar. He gets fucking fireballed. It's like
We'll get
they
to that.
forgot that he was the invisible man, and they were like, the invincible man. Oh, wait, just, oops. Like,
Yeah,
what?
but it's like he has super strength, so he's able to choke this guy from the pipes. But then when he goes to kill the vet, he struggles just to turn the trank gun back on her.
Well,
Did you notice that?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm like, what? Also, that trank dart moves. He shoots her with a trank gun the first time, and it hits her like right in the heart. You know what I mean? To imply that it was really bad, and then he snaps her neck. When she is in the freezer later at the end, and you see her, the trank dart is like in her gut. It's totally moved like a foot.
Oh, is it? I think at the beginning of the movie when the gorilla gets out, like right at the very beginning, and the guy gets bit and like lets the gorilla out, they were going to try and find her, and he like leaves the like thermal glasses in the case and walks away, and then like the next scene is him like holding the thermal glasses.
Oh, there's some consistency errors for sure.
Yeah, I didn't notice a whole lot of them. I'm pretty good at catching them, but
yeah. So another thing that bothered me is that when they're trying to kill Kevin Bacon turns up the heat in the entire laboratory so that when they use the thermal goggles, they can't tell the difference between Kevin Bacon and the air temperature because it's hot.
Yeah, that he like breaks a steam pipe or something.
Yeah, well, he actually turns just like the regular heat up too.
Oh, really?
Like, that's what they apply first. Yeah, and I'm like, that's not true at all. Like, I'm like, do you realize how hot it would have to be with just your heaters in the lab to get that hot? Which I'm sure they don't even go that hot.
Well, to match a human's body temperature, it would only have to go to like
98
degrees.
But even if it was 98 degrees, you would still see giant shifting, moving heat signatures.
Yeah, and I also feel like if the room was 98 degrees, like my body temperature would be like 147
Oh, exactly.
degrees. Like I would
you
just
fucking
be
dying.
fucking dying.
You're like, don't kill me, Kevin Bacon. I'm sweating enough already. I'm just going to die.
I'm just going to drown in my sweat. Like that's what's going to happen. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, basically. So I thought that part was a little much of a stretch, you know. He kills the computer nerdy guy, which we can't remember his actor's name right now. Kills him with a crowbar. Like
literally,
that was a good death
shoves
scene.
him right through the whole center of his
apparently
body.
Apparently that's the super strength too, because in real life you'd never be able to shove a crowbar that easily through a human body.
You don't think so?
Let's try it out.
No, let's not.
We some volunteers. Yeah, there's no way. I mean, you could do it, but it would be difficult. You wouldn't just go whoop. Okay, let's go.
Well, I mean, with adrenaline and all your human strength, the body tissue, if you don't hit any bones, like...
I still don't... Crowbar is not that sharp.
That crowbar was sharp. I specifically looked at the end of it when it went through his body, because I was like, oh, that's a crowbar. Oh, shit, yeah. That's a sharp crowbar.
They get trapped in the freezer.
Yep.
Invisible Man traps them in a freezer, and the bitch makes an electromagnet.
She's the smartest fucking
stuff. Just out of
bitch.
Stuff in the freezer. I'm like, why was all this stuff in the freezer? Yeah, she makes an electromagnet to get the bar that locks the freezer open. Like she pulls it from the inside of the electromagnet. That was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty like MacGyver-ish.
I was like, how is she gonna get the fuck out of here? God, she's smart.
She then proceeds, as we said before, to light Kevin Bacon on fire with a goddamn homemade flamethrower, which doesn't kill him.
You see the skin, like him ripping, like he's obviously in pain, like he's ripping the burning clothing off, and then you see like the little flakes of like dead skin like coming off rubber, behind him, and I was just like, ew. Yeah. I mean, it's really cool, but like, ew.
But he should be dead.
He should 100% be dead.
Or be writhing in pain on the ground.
That and like, or his like, and I wonder if they weren't as concerned about that because like they could just like make up like, oh yeah, like his whole molecular structure like changed because of this invisibility thing, like because it changes your whole, obviously you're changing your structure if you're going invisible, like maybe it's mutating or something like that. Like,
but they didn't explain it. That's what they should have done.
They absolutely should have explained it, but you can kind of like use your imagination if you.
And they missed the opportunity when he gets lit on fire. They should have had some line that should have been like, nobody likes burnt bacon, and then like walked away, but nobody does.
God, that would have been so good. What a missed opportunity.
Exactly. I said it in my head. I'm like, like some crispy bacon. I was like, oh, that's genius.
Like, fuck, now I'm going to go cook some bacon.
But in the end, Kevin Bacon gets electrocuted as well. He survives that. And I thought that was the end. And I was like, oh, that's kind of anticlimactic. But as they're climbing up the elevator shaft to escape the bomb, because he sets a bomb, he's still fucking alive.
Yeah.
It tries to drag her down with him, but eventually he falls into the elevator shaft filled with fire and smoke and death. And that is where they killed Kevin Bacon and to end the movie.
Yes. Correct.
It's a good flick. It's a good, decent watch.
It was. Another fun fact about this movie is that unlike a lot of movies where they'll jump around from like scene to scene and like not really keep things in sequence, this whole movie had to be shot in sequence, like of the movie because of that exploding scene at the end, because they weren't gonna like rebuild all the lab stuff after the explosion.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of fun facts, I have a few more here.
Ooh, lay 'em on me, Robbie.
Boom. To get the right reaction from the cast when Kevin Bacon was invisible, the director, Paul Verhoeven, had put speakers in different places on set and had Kevin Bacon's voice come from different speakers reading the lines so that the cast would get a genuine reaction to the invisible character. Because originally they had shot it while he wasn't there. Or any they just let the actors go through their lines. Yep. He's like, it seems fake. So that's kind of neat. That'd be creepy as fuck. That's why you like see him like looking around like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Also, like their whole intention with this movie was to not even have Kevin Bacon on the scene. But they, again, they were worried with the reactions after filming a few that they literally just dressed him in green like the entire time. Yep. So Kevin was there acting like to be able for them to like react better as a person. Mm-hmm. So Kevin Bacon was just dressed like a giant booger for this whole movie. Like
another interesting fact, in order to use the title of this movie, producers had to buy the rights to Dan Simmons' novel entitled Hollow Man. The novel has nothing to do with the Invisible Man, like it was H.G. Wells.
Yep.
So they just had to buy it because, which is kind of sucks, but it's whatever. They had $95 million budget.
Yeah.
They probably paid $20 for it.
I'd take that.
All right. The filming was shut down for 7 weeks after Elizabeth Shue tore her Achilles tendon during filming.
No.
I didn't figure out which scene it was. I kind of should have looked that up, but the producers thought about replacing her, but chose to postpone production instead. She has the only role that I think could have been replaced by anybody, unfortunately.
This is the main actress?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could think of a handful of actresses that probably could have done a better job than she did, but
she did fine.
I mean, it was a fine. She did a good job.
It's just you could have like boom, 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 put her place, but nobody could have done Kevin Bacon's part. I don't think.
No, although they did. They looked into Edward Norton.
Yep, and there's a rumor about RDJ, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, really?
Which apparently pissed off Kevin Bacon because that rumor floated up during production that they had actually wanted Robert Downey Jr. instead of Kevin Bacon. So he was like pissed off for a while during filming. Oh. But it was a rumor. They didn't.
I honestly, I don't think that I could picture Robert Downey Jr. playing that role.
They wanted Kevin Bacon because if he's got that, we talked about it earlier, that charming and yet
evil, like that.
And, like he's that cross. Yeah,
he's very good at play. He is so charming. Like everything he's in, he's just a charmer. But like everybody he's so good at being like that kind of like closeted evil type personality.
It's because it was a slow development of evil, I think, too. So that helped.
Yeah. He did a really good job of like transitioning from that like charming guy to like just pure evil. But because a lot of the time when you like watch movies, I feel like it's very easy to see that switch in somebody. But he did a really good job of like you just like not really noticing it.
Yeah, he even said when he was looking at the girl changing in his apartment building, he's like, I shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
He says it. He says like, this is wrong. But then he rapes her anyway. But so that's basically the whole movie. Now we're going to go over the reviews.
Ooh.
I don't have any real reviews.
Me either.
I just have the rating scores because some of them were there were a lot of shitty ones and I feel bad. But anyway, on IMDb, this has a 5.8 out of 10, which I think is too low. I think it's too low. I would
agree. I think that's too low for this movie.
Yeah. On Metacritic, the critic rating is 24 out of 100, which is horrible.
Oh my God. Really?
And the user rating is 3.6 out of 10.
Oh my
so
God.
It's also horrible. Yeah.
I'm going to say that this movie is getting lower ratings than it should because of the sexual assault in it.
Oh, probably. Rotten Tomatoes, the critic rating is 27%, and the audience rating is 28%, which I was surprised at. I thought the audience rating would be like 75.
Yeah, so if I were to rate this movie, I would give it a 7.5.
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
We only do out of 5.
Oh, I was going on IMDb.
IMDb?
Yes, I literally say it wrong every single time I say it. I can't.
So out of 5, Lauren, what would you give this since we're here anyway?
I would give this a 3.5 out of 5.
I gave it a 3.25, and I love the movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I also don't watch a lot of movies, so I don't have anything to compare it to. So
that's true, very much.
And I love Kevin Bacon, and The Goonies is like one of my favorite movies. So just having anyone from The Goonies in it gives it like an extra bump.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.25.
A 3.25? You give it a 3.25, Robbie?
Don't keep that in.
I
give it a 3.25. It's not meant to win Oscars. It's not meant to win awards. It's meant to go to the theater and have a good fucking time and maybe get a little creeped out and make you think. I think it's a good movie. I think people shitting on it is pointless. Get over yourself, you fucking shitty critics.
Yeah. I'm not going to judge anyone's judgment on this movie because like everyone has their feelings, but
movie critics are cancer, let's be honest.
This is why I don't read reviews or anything for like literally anything because I don't trust anyone else's opinion except my own.
And mine.
Well, yeah, I trust your opinion. Yeah. Although you've made me watch some shitty movies, but
yeah, because I haven't seen them either. That's not fair.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So before we go, we're gonna rate our beers. Real quick,
Robbie,
Lauren.
I have a question for you before we go.
What?
If you were invisible, what would you do? Like, what would be like the first thing that you go do if you were invisible?
I would go to your house. I would knock on the door. You would open the door. There would be nobody there. I would steal Minor.
Because I wouldn't see him being lifted into the air and taken out of my apartment.
Nope. He would just see a floating dog. And I'd hide him away, and I'd come back, and I'd open the door again, and I'd punch you in the face, and I'd run away.
I think you'd have more success with just opening the door and punching me in the face. Because if somebody knocked on my door, I always check my peephole, and if no one's there, I'm not opening the door.
It's not a good way to live life, Lauren.
Why? Somebody almost came into my apartment last week.
I know, you whined about it. You could have made a best friend, but instead...
No, there's a fucking pandemic. Don't come in my apartment, motherfucker.
Lauren, rate your goddamn beer.
God, yes. Okay, I will rate my beer. But first we have to listen to a word from our sponsors.
Are you like my lesbian podcast partner Lauren and stuck in a boring, sexless relationship?
Wait, what?
Luckily, there's a website for you.
I'm boring?
Adam and Eve is an online store where you get all the bedroom essentials to help spice up your relationship.
Can we get back to this sexless thing?
With an assortment of adult toys, lingerie, and sexy accessories, Adam and Eve has got you covered in the bedroom. Or in the kitchen. Or in the public library bathroom, basically anywhere you can have sex.
The library?
And even if you're not in a relationship, Adam and Eve has got your lonely ass covered as well. With an assortment of lubes, toys, and other pleasurable items, adamandeve.com will make you feel like you're not jerking off alone in your apartment ever again. So remember, if you're gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, pan-fried, or even deep-fried, Adam and Eve has got you covered in the bedroom. So head over to adamandeve.com and use our promo code BREW4U and get 50% off almost any item in store. That's promo code BREW4U, the number 4, at checkout and get 50% off almost any item. And when you do, you also get 10 free gifts courtesy of adamandeve.com, including 6 spicy movies and a 3-piece bonus kit. It's like a 3-piece chicken bucket, but, better. Now get out there and do some consensual the kind where you stick your in their then you get the Thousand Island dressing, you rub it all over your and you just jam it in there. You know what I'm saying?
Salad dressing?
adamandeve.com for all your needs. Cheers.
Okay, so I drank Strobe from Good Fire Brewing in Portland, Maine. It is an IPA coming in at 6%, and it's fucking delicious. I would rate this beer... I'm going to rate this beer 4 because it's one that I could just drink all of the time and be perfectly happy drinking. It's absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you, Robbie? What are you going to rate your beer?
I drank Shipyard Smashed Pumpkin, 9% ale. Obviously brewed with pumpkin. It's amazing. As far as pumpkin beers go, it's like middle of the road. Pumpkinhead is their lesser version.
That's the white girl version.
That's the basic white girl version. That I would probably give that like a 2. smashed pumpkin, I would probably give a 3. Just right in the middle, easy, middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's a simple pumpkin beer to drink, and sometimes you don't get that. Sometimes you just get mouth fucked with nastiness.
You're
or
not
it's
wrong.
really good. And this is that middle road that I enjoy.
Yeah, I would agree with that rating. I might even rate it like a 2.8. Just like,
Yeah.
although I haven't had it this year. We're gonna do a pumpkin episode again.
Does it change? Does smashed pumpkin change? Like Dogfish Heads, I know changes every year a little bit.
I feel like there are some smashed pumpkins I get that are like a little bit more on the bitter side than I prefer. But then I've also had ones that are like much more smooth than others. So maybe it's just like the cans I've gotten or the bottles I've gotten. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Well said.
You
Well,
should definitely get their Warlock though. I really enjoy the
I want to.
Warlock.
Well, that just about wraps it up for this episode. If you've ever seen Hollow Man, let us know what you think. Send us an email.
Do it.
You can find
Talk
us
to us
on the Brew Interviews at our Instagram account at the Brew Interviews or on Twitter at Brew Interviews. You can also send us an email at thebrewinterviews@gmail.com or Facebook under the Brew Interviews. And if you feel so inclined, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Brew Interviews and become part of the Brew Interviews family, just like these people: Hillary, Mitch, Steph, Karen, Danny, Jess, and the Wreck My Podcast crew. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Also, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps us out. And I would like to say thank you to our sponsor, adamandeve.com. And be sure to use our promo code BREW4U. That's BREW, the number 4U, and get 50% off almost any one item. And when you do, you also get 10 free special gifts. So get you and your loved one something special and help out the Brew Interviews at the same exact time.
Do it.
And this month, we are also donating our Patreon funds. We like to do this every month, every other month or so, to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's a charity that kind of very close to Lauren and I.
Yes.
And we actually have one donation so far. Alyssa from the Golden Ghouls has already donated, so that's very nice. Even if it's a one-time donation, head over to our Patreon and just hit that one-time donation button. It's all going to charity, so you're doing something good.
Yeah, we donate. I think usually we do it in March. Usually we do it in September.
Yep.
Also, we've donated to other charities. So in the future, if there's a charity that you're really passionate about, like, let us know. We might be interested in donating our Patreon that month for it. And Robbie and I usually try and match whatever people donate.
Yeah, we definitely match it, yeah.
So if you are against suicide, go ahead and donate to our Patreon.
Because you are against suicide, because there's somebody for it.
Well, you never know, Robbie. You never know. Like, if honestly, like, it's just a great foundation, and it's a cause near and dear to us. So we like to support it.
For the Brew Interviews, I'm Robbie.
And I'm Lauren.
Good night.
Good night.
This has been The Brew Interviews, a podcast about craft beers coast to coast with Lauren and Robbie.
Sometimes you just get mouth fucked with nastiness.